Hi, I'm Kevin West. In the last segment, we made this fantastic strawberry jam. This segment, I want to teach you how to can this jam. For this segment, I want to teach you the basics of safe home canning so that you can take some of this jam and store it in mason jars. The mason jar consists of a glass jar and what's called a two-piece lid. The jars do not have to be sterilized in advance. Once we fill the jar and seal it, we're going to put it in this boiling water bath, and that's a pasteurization process. So what we're going to do is we're going to sterilize the jar as well as the contents of the jar. When you go to fill a jar, it's useful to have a funnel like this, but it's not absolutely necessary. Here's the main thing you need to remember. Never fill a jar all the way to the top. You always leave a little bit of space, which is called head space. And that head space allows the jam inside to expand a little bit as it's in the boiling water bath. For this recipe, and for most jam recipes, you'll leave a 1/4-inch headspace. It's as easy as that. Once you have the jar filled, this is important. I want you to take a damp paper towel and wipe off the rim of the jar. And this is to ensure that there's a good seal. The next step is that you take the flat disc from the lid, just set it on there, and then you take the ring and put the ring on. When you feel the very first resistance, I want you to stop and stick your pinky out like you're having tea with the queen. And then with the other 3 fingers holding on to the ring, tighten it the rest of the way. And this is what we call fingertip tight. The reason I don't want you to put your pinky down is that if you grip it like this, you can over-tighten the ring, and that will interfere with the functioning of this 2-piece lid. Now that is a properly filled jar. Take your jar and just settle it down into the boiling water. Now the important point here is that the jar should be fully submerged by at least 1 inch of water. Put the lid on, turn it up full blast, and once it comes back to a boil, and only after it comes back to a boil, then you begin your processing time. For this recipe, the processing time is 10 minutes. So once it comes back to a boil, start the timing. So now this pot has been boiling for 10 minutes. Very carefully, reach in there and get out the jar. Now I know the urge to pick it up and admire how pretty it is almost irresistible, but I want you just to leave it on the counter overnight while the product inside the jar cools and while the seal sets properly. Tomorrow morning, you can come back, you can take off the ring because that seal has fully set at that point, and you can do whatever you want with it. You can give it to a friend, you can put it on the shelf to store it for up to a year, you can open it and eat it on your breakfast toast. While we let that one cool off overnight, I wanted to show you, this is a jar that I put up the other day. Once it's cooled overnight, it's going to look exactly the same. And I will tell you, it's delicious actually. It's really good. Your friends and your family will be very happy if you give them a jar of that.